Earth stayed quiet while the galaxy burned dot beyond the edge of the Sol system. Stars flickered with war. Entire worlds changed hands. Fleets clashed in endless darkness. Messages of destruction traveled faster than light, filling the shared networks of space. Names of fallen planets became common knowledge. Species learned to fear the sound of incoming jump signatures. Earth did none of this. The planet watched, listened, and remained silent. Humans had reached the stars later than most. They had explored nearby systems, built stations, and learned the rules of interstellar travel. When the Great Galactic War began, Earth chose to stay out. Leaders spoke of survival, not glory. They spoke of home, not conquest. They signed neutrality accords and closed many of their jump gates. Other species laughed. They called humans soft. They called Earth weak. A small blue world with stubborn people who hid behind treaties and words. As fleets tore each other apart, no one cared about a quiet system that offered nothing but water. Iron and Silence.Chi-Ho floated inside Orbital Ring 3, far above Earth's pale curve. He moved slowly through a maintenance corridor, boots locked to the floor. His hands guided a tool across an old panel, checking power flow and stress readings. The station was old by galactic standards. Its design was simple. Thick walls. Redundant systems. No beauty, only function.G. Oh, like that. He was an engineer, trained to fix things that others forgot. His black hair drifted slightly in the low gravity as he worked. His face showed calm focus. He had served once, long ago, during Earth's short period of mandatory defense training. Nothing heroic. Just drills, manuals, and long nights listening to alarms that never came. Most people believed Orbital Ring 3 was nothing more than a traffic hub and sensor relay. That was partly true. It guided ships, scanned debris, and watched space lanes. What it also did was something no one spoke about openly. It watched everything. Deep sensors, hidden behind civilian equipment, tracked energy patterns, mass shadows, and jump signatures far beyond what treaties allowed. Earth followed the rules in public. In private, it prepared. Ji-Ho finished his inspection and logged the results. All systems stable. He pushed off the wall and drifted toward the viewport. Earth filled his vision, blue and white, calm and whole. He had seen battle footage from other systems. Planets cracked by bombardment. Atmospheres burned away. Cities turned to glass. Earth remained untouched. For now. Below him, on the surface, Era sat in a quiet research room. The lights were dim. Screens floated around her desk, filled with symbols, tones, and shifting patterns. Era was a linguist, but not the kind that studied old human languages. She studied alien thought. She listened to war. The galactic conflict produced noise. Not just radio chatter, but patterns of intent. Command bursts. Emotional spikes in encoded speech. Threat markers hidden in polite phrases. Era had learned to hear what others ignored. Her fingers moved across the console as she compared recent transmissions. Something was wrong. Not loud, not obvious. Just a silence where sound should be. She leaned closer to the display. Several long-range signals had stopped changing. No battle reports. No distress calls. Just frozen data streams, as if someone had cut the lines cleanly. That did not happen by accident. Era marked the sector and pulled up trajectory maps. Her eyes narrowed. The silence formed a path that pointed toward Sol. She swallowed and sent a priority message to Earth Defense Command. Most analysts would call it coincidence. Space was large. War was chaotic. But Era trusted patterns more than comfort. On the other side of the planet, Tae-Su stood inside a command hall, buried deep beneath stone and steel. The hall was empty. except for a few officers and silent displays. Earth defense had never been popular. Budgets were small. Equipment was labeled outdated. Politicians preferred disaster relief, funding, and space trade routes. Tae-Soo understood that. He also understood history. He stood tall, hands behind his back, eyes fixed on a projection of near space. He had trained for invasions no one believed would come. He had memorized response plans written decades earlier by people long retired or dead. Soft tone echoed through the hall. Incoming priority signal. Tae-Soo turned as Era's message appeared. He read it once, then again. His expression did not change, but his breathing slowed. He ordered a silent increase in sensor sensitivity across all orbital platforms. No announcement, no alert, just quiet readiness. If Earth was being watched, Earth would watch back. Days passed. The galaxy continued to burn. Trade ships came and went. Civilians lived their lives. Children went to school. Weather satellites tracked storms. Farmers watched the sky for rain. Not warships. Chi-Ho received a work order. Unscheduled system. Activation test. That was unusual. He floated back to the restricted section of Orbital Ring 3, passing sealed doors that rarely opened. His access codes unlocked them without sound. Inside, the air felt heavier, the walls thicker. He reached a console marked as obsolete. It powered on instantly. Hidden layers of software came alive. Weapon guidance routines. Power rerouting protocols. Firing arcs calculated around Earth's gravity. Ho stared at the data. These were not civilian systems. He felt a quiet tension settle in his chest. Not fear, readiness. He ran diagnostics as ordered. Everything responded smoothly. The station had been sleeping, not decaying. On Earth, Era watched her screens fill with new information. Earth sensors, once limited by treaty settings, now saw deeper, clearer. Something large moved at the edge of detection. Very large. She zoomed in, enhancing faint readings. The shape was wrong for asteroids. Too smooth. Too deliberate. A fleet. Not many ships. Just one. But it dwarfed anything Earth had ever built. Era's hands shook slightly as she sent the update. Tae-Soo received it in silence. He dismissed unnecessary staff and sealed the hall. Emergency protocols activated without sirens. Defense networks linked across the planet and its orbit. Old satellites adjusted positions. Hidden platforms powered up. Earth did not panic. Earth prepared. Chi-Ho felt the station vibrate. Not from engines. From space itself. He pushed toward the viewport again. Far beyond the moon's orbit, a distortion appeared. Space bent, light stretched, and then it happened. A massive alien warship emerged from jump space. It was dark, angular, and scarred by battle. Its surface bore the marks of many wars. It did not scan cautiously. It did not hide. It advanced with certainty. The warship moved closer, ignoring traffic warnings. Civilian ships fled. Automated beacons broadcast neutral status codes. The warship did not respond. Instead, it transmitted a single message. The signal reached every receiver on Earth. Audio. Visual, language adjusted automatically. The image showed a towering alien figure clad in armor. Eyes cold and unreadable, the voice was calm. Earth of Soul, open your planetary gates. Submit your system to occupation. Resistance will be brief. Chi-Ho stared at the image. Era felt her stomach drop. Tae-Soo closed his eyes for one breath. Earth had stayed out of the Galactic War until the war came knocking, and the door was about to be tested. The message faded, leaving silence behind. Across Earth, people stopped what they were doing. Screens froze. Conversations ended. The sky above cities looked the same, but something had changed. The war had finally noticed them. Tae-Soo opened his eyes and gave his first clear order: maintain silence. No response yet. Officers nodded and moved with calm speed. Displays shifted from civilian layouts to layered defense maps. Lines appeared around Earth, the Moon, and deep space. Hidden platforms reported ready status in quiet data bursts. Earth did not shout. Earth listened. Jiho remained at the viewport, watching the alien warship drift closer. It moved like a predator that already believed the hunt was over. No escorts. No visible concern. He turned back to the console as a new instruction arrived. Route auxiliary power to deep systems. Lock manual override. Jiho's fingers paused for a moment. These commands had never been used together before. He followed them anyway. Far below, Era sat with her headset on, filtering the enemy transmission frame by frame. The translation was clear, but the structure behind it told more. The speaker did not see Earth as a threat. The demand was not a negotiation. It was a statement of fact, as solid as gravity. She opened a private channel to Tae-Soo. They do not expect resistance. They expect compliance or collapse. Tae-Soo read the message and nodded once. Good. The alien warship adjusted its orientation. Energy readings spiked along its surface. Not weapons. Scanners. Was measuring Earth. Civilian traffic around the planet scattered. Shuttles rushed to dock. Commercial stations sealed themselves. Emergency broadcasts advised calm and shelter without mentioning the word invasion. Most people obeyed. Some simply stood and looked up. In a coastal city, Hana guided patients into reinforced corridors. She spoke softly, keeping her voice steady. Her training had prepared her for earthquakes and storms, not alien threats. Still, the basics were the same. Fear spreads faster than fire. Control it, and people survive. She secured the last door and checked her supplies. Medical bays were stocked. Blood units ready. Trauma kits lined the walls. She took a deep breath. If this became a war, she would not leave her post. Above the planet, the alien warship sent another signal. Earth of Soul, you have been measured. Your defenses are insufficient. Open your gates now. Su-Jin listened from a deep communications array, her eyes moving rapidly as she tracked sub-channels hidden beneath the main broadcast. There were command pings moving outward, not inward. She felt a chill. They are calling something. She alerted command. Immediately. Tae-Soo did not hesitate. Activate level 1 deterrence. No weapons fired. No visible aggression. Just changes. Old satellites shifted orbits. Asteroid mining platforms adjusted positions. The moon's shadow hid more than it used to. To the alien warship. Space around Earth began to feel different. That heavier. Ho felt it through the station structure. Power surged through channels that had never warmed before. Guidance systems aligned themselves without human input, responding to algorithms refined over generations. Earth had never matched alien technology in raw strength. It had focused on reliability and patience. The alien ship launched a small craft. It was sleek and fast, cutting toward Earth's upper atmosphere. Not an attack craft. A probe. Tae-Soo watched its path. Allow entry. The probe descended, burning right against the sky. Cameras tracked it from ground and orbit. It slowed, stabilized, and began scanning surface installations. Then it crossed an invisible line. Gravity. Wells shifted. The probe system struggled as local space bent in ways its design did not expect. It fought to correct course. It failed. The craft spiraled, its hull glowing as it tore itself apart. Debris burned up harmlessly. Silence followed. The alien warship froze. Era watched the data and felt something she had not expected. Hope. they did not understand. Earth. The warship's energy profile changed. This time, weapons charged Te-Su straightened. Level 2 deterrence. Do not fire unless fired upon. Earth's defenses did not reveal themselves fully. Small flashes appeared in space as point systems came online. Targeting solutions locking quietly. The alien ship fired. A single shot. Not at a city. At an orbital platform, far from population centers. The beam struck, washing the structure in blinding light. Ho felt the impact ripple through connected systems. Alerts screamed across his console. Structural failure imminent. He clenched his jaw and began emergency procedures. Bulkheads sealed. Non-essential sections vented. The station did not explode. It endured. Damage reports flowed in. Scorching. Hull breaches. No catastrophic loss. Te-Su allowed himself a thin breath. Returned fire. Earth answered. From places no enemy sensor had marked as weapons. Focused energy beams lanced out. Not powerful enough to pierce the warship's core armor, but precise. They struck external arrays. Sensor clusters. Weapon mounts. The alien ship reeled. It had expected surrender. It had received defiance. Hyan felt the order reach his ship. Civilian flight status revoked. Auxiliary conversion complete. His transport's panels folded back, revealing compact thrusters and hardened plating. He had practiced this only in simulations. Now space outside his cockpit glowed with war. He followed his assigned vector, moving fast and low, hiding among debris fields and reflected signals. Earth's strength was not in overwhelming force. It was in refusing to fight the enemy's way. The alien warship fired again, broader this time. Space around Earth lit up with energy. Point defenses intercepted what they could. Some shots passed through empty space, hitting nothing at all. The warship grew. Frustrated, its commander had crushed dozens of worlds. This small blue planet refused to break. Era. Listen to the enemy's internal communications leaking through damaged arrays. The tone had changed. Sharp, angry, confused. She sent a message. They are afraid of losing control. Te-Su read it and nodded. Good. Chiho rerouted power one final time. The station groaned, but held. He watched as a hidden platform near the moon fired a gravity pulse, pulling the alien ship slightly off balance. Just enough. The warship pulled back. Engines flaring. Not retreat. Back repositioning. It sent one last transmission. Earth of Soul, you have chosen resistance. This system will be taken. The signal cut. The ship moved to a higher orbit. Weapons still active. The first exchange was over. Earth still stood. Te-Su looked around the command hall. Faces were tense, but steady. This was only the beginning. Above them all, Earth turned quietly, unchanged on the surface. But the war had found its door. And humanity had answered without opening it. Space around Earth grew tense and crowded. The alien warship held its distant orbit, watching, adjusting, learning. Smaller signals appeared at the edge of detection. Faint shadows where nothing should be. Scouts, relays, silent eyes sent to measure. Human reactions. Earth noticed them all. Te-Su kept the command hall quiet. Orders moved through secure lines without raised voices. Defense layers rotated, never staying in one pattern long enough to be predicted. Old systems woke fully, their software updating itself from hidden archives. Earth had not rushed into the stars. It had waited. Ho worked without pause. His station had taken damage, but it still lived. He moved through narrow corridors, sealing breaches, rerouting lines, restoring balance. Each task was simple. Together, they kept the station breathing. He knew now what Orbital Ring 3 truly was. Not a shield. A trap. Far below, Era listened to enemy chatter leaking through space. The alien commander argued with unseen superiors. Words translated into sharp fragments. Unexpected. Resistance. Local physics interference. Human. Behavior inconsistent. Era focused on the last. Phrase. They could not model. Humans. That was their weakness. She sent updated. Analysis to Tesu. It will escalate. They need to prove control. Tesu already knew. Prepare distributed engagement. Across near space, civilian vessels completed their final conversions. Cargo holds shifted into missile bays. Survey drones became sensor ghosts. Mining lasers adjusted frequencies. Hyan guided his ship along a debris field near the moon. His hands were steady on the controls. His ship was not built for war, but it responded quickly, like a living thing eager to move. He was not alone. Other converted ships drifted nearby, silent and dark. No batters. No formation. Just intent. The alien warship made its move. Multiple craft launched at once, spreading out in wide arcs. Not probes this time. Strike units. Tesu watched their paths. Engage selectively. Earth did not meet them head-on. As the alien craft advanced, space itself seemed to resist them. Gravity pulses nudged their paths. False signals bloomed and faded. Reflected energy confused. Targeting systems. The first alien craft fired and hit nothing. The second vanished into a controlled debris cloud. Shredded by micrometeors, redirected at precise moments. The third reached firing range. Hyan saw it. He accelerated. His ship slipped beneath the alien craft's sensors, hiding in its blind spot. He released a compact payload and pulled away hard. The payload detonated, not with force, but with light. Sensors overloaded. Guidance failed. The alien craft spun out of control. Earth finished it from afar. More alien units pushed forward. Some broke through. Explosions bloomed in orbit as platforms took hits. Alarms sounded across Earth's defense grid. Damage reports stacked up. Hana felt the tremor through the ground as distant impacts shook the planet's magnetic field. She moved between patients with focused calm. Burn injuries. Shock. Broken bones from emergency. Evacuations. She did not look at the sky. She trusted others to handle that. Go. Received a high priority order. Manual. Activation required. He reached the core chamber of the station, a place few had ever entered. Thick rings of machinery surrounded a central mass driver, aligned with Earth's gravity well. This system had no automated trigger. Only human hands. Ji-ho placed his palm on the control surface. It recognized him instantly. Authorization accepted. He hesitated for a single breath. Then he pressed forward. The station shuddered as power surged. The mass driver fired, launching a dense projectile toward empty space. It missed the alien ships completely. On purpose, the projectile curved under Earth's gravity, slingshotting back outward at a new angle. Faster and heavier than before, the alien warship detected it too late. The impact did not pierce armor. It cracked it. A deep fracture spread across the hull. Venting atmosphere and energy. The alien commander screamed orders. Earth pressed harder. Platforms near the moon fired in sequence, forcing the damaged warship to maneuver constantly. Each movement cost energy. Each correction revealed another weakness. Era listened as panic replaced control in enemy communications. They are calling reinforcements. The message went out faster than light. Somewhere, something would hear it. Tesu acknowledged the report. We hold. The alien warship attempted a desperate tactic. It aligned its main weapon toward Earth's surface. Cities lit up with warning alerts. This time, Earth responded openly. Defense arrays revealed themselves fully. Energy shields shimmered into view, thin but layered. Beams crossed space, striking the warship's weapon channel again and again. The shot never fired. The warship pulled back sharply, engines flaring unstable light, that it began to withdraw. Retreat. Survival. Hyan watched it move away, battered and bleeding energy. He wanted to chase it. The order never came. Earth did not pursue. Jiho powered down the mass driver. His hands trembled slightly now that the moment had passed. He leaned against the console, breathing slowly. They had done it, for now. Era sat back in her chair, exhaustion washing over her. The noise of enemy chatter faded as damaged systems fell silent. The warship crossed the edge of the system. It did not jump. It limped. Su remained standing long after the immediate threat passed. He knew what this meant. Earth had revealed itself, not as weak, but as dangerous. Across the galaxy, observers recorded the battle. Neutral analysts replayed the data in disbelief. A quiet world had stood against a veteran warship and survived. Some felt respect, others felt fear. On Earth, people slowly returned to the surface. The sky was still blue, the air still warm. Life continued. Hana stepped outside the medical facility for the first time in hours. She looked up, shielding her eyes from the sun. Earth was still there. Jiho watched the planet from orbit, seeing new scars on stations and satellites. They could be fixed. Everything important still lived. Era sent one final report. They will come back, stronger, in greater numbers. Su replied with a single line. So will we. Far beyond the system. The wounded alien warship drifted, carrying a new truth back into the burning galaxy. Earth was no longer silent, and it would not be taken easily. The days after the first battle were heavy and quiet. Earth repaired itself. Damaged platforms were stabilized. Broken satellites were guided into safe decay. Power grids adjusted and learned from every strain. The planet did not celebrate. It worked. Su ordered constant movement. Defense patterns shifted hourly. No orbit stayed predictable. No station remained alone. What had been revealed was now reinforced. Earth had shown its hand. Now it hardened its grip. Jiho slept in short bursts between repairs. His station bore deep scars. Long black lines burned into its skin. He patched them with steady hands, replacing plates and sealing joints. The work was physical and grounding. Fear faded when there was something to fix. Era's days were louder than before. New signals arrived from across the galaxy. Some were curious, some cautious, some hostile. She listened to them all, sorting truth from noise. Word had spread. Neutral world had wounded a warship. It did not go unnoticed. Hyan trained with his crew, running drills through asteroid fields and shadow zones. Civilian pilots learned to fly like ghosts. They practiced patience, restraint, and sudden speed. No medals waited for them. Only responsibility. Hana expanded the medical wards. She trained volunteers, taught them how to stop bleeding, how to calm panic, how to endure long hours. She did not tell them they would be heroes. She told them they would be needed. 3 weeks after the battle, Era found the change. It was subtle. Background signals shifted tone. Not louder, not faster, just focused. She leaned closer to her screens, heart slowing as her mind sharpened. This was not a fleet moving openly. This was preparation. She sent her report immediately. They are coming in numbers. They are coordinating. Su read the message and issued a single order. Activate full defense posture. Across Earth and its orbit, systems aligned. Hidden structures unfolded. Gravity nets tuned themselves. Energy reserves diverted from comfort to survival. The sky above. Earth looked unchanged, but space had teeth now. The enemy arrived without warning. Multiple. Jump signatures flared at the edge of the system. Not one warship, many large vessels formed a loose ring, holding distance while smaller ships spread inward. Like fingers closing around prey, the enemy had learned. They did not rush. They tested. Probes pushed forward. Each one different, each one designed to trigger a response. Some used mass. Some used energy. Some carried strange fields that bent. Sensors. Earth answered selectively. Some probes were ignored. Others were destroyed instantly. Pattern remained unclear. That was the point. Ho felt the deep hum of the system change pitch. Orbital Ring 3 became part of a larger machine. He understood now that Earth's defenses were not separate weapons, were a single organism. He received an order marked irreversible. Prepare. Gravity well collapse. His breath caught. Was not a weapon. It was. Sacrifice. Era watched as enemy communications tightened. Orders repeated. Threats sharpened. Confidence strained. They expect a single lie. Decisive blow. They will fail. The enemy launched their main assault. Hundreds of strike craft surged inward, overwhelming space with motion. Energy beams crossed and flared. Explosions lit the dark. Earth did not meet them with a wall, but it met them with layers. Ships vanished into controlled fields. Engines failed without damage. Craft collided with debris that should not have been there. Hyan flew through chaos, guiding his ship between bursts of light. He struck only when the moment was perfect, then disappeared again. His voice stayed calm on the channel. Target neutralized. Moving. Again and again. On the surface, alarms sounded as some enemy units broke through. Cities sealed sections. Shelters closed. Defense cannons rose from hidden bays. Hana treated the wounded as tremors shook the ground. She spoke softly, even when the ceiling lights flickered. Hold still. Breathe. The enemy committed their mistake. Pushed their largest ships closer. Tae-Su waited until the last possible second. Now. Ho triggered the sequence. Orbital Ring 3 began to tear itself apart. Anchors released. Mass shifted. The station collapsed inward, feeding energy and matter into a focused gravity event. The effect rippled outward. Enemy ships closest to Su. Earth felt space grab them hard. Formations broke. Engines screamed as vectors failed. The enemy commander tried to pull back. Too late. Earth struck with everything it had. Energy beams. Mass drivers, redirected asteroids, and focused gravity pulses converged on trapped ships. Space burned. Several enemy vessels shattered. Others went dark. Ho watched his station die piece by piece. He had evacuated in time, now floating in a rescue craft, eyes fixed on the destruction. He felt loss. In pride. Era listened as enemy communications collapsed into panic. Orders contradicted. Signals overlapped and failed. They had planned for strength. They had not planned for sacrifice. The enemy fleet began to retreat. Not in order. In fear. Tae-Su did not pursue beyond the system edge. He held the line until the last hostile signal faded. Then he allowed himself to sit. Earth had paid a price, but it still stood. In the aftermath, smoke drifted through orbit. Wreckage glittered like false stars. Recovery crews moved carefully, saving what could be saved. Hana stepped outside again, exhaustion deep in her bones. She watched the sky as emergency lights dimmed. Earth was hurt. But alive. Era compiled her final report of the battle. She knew it would travel far. Earth did not seek war, but it would finish what came to it. Ji-Ho returned to Earth days later, standing on solid ground, feeling gravity pull him close. The war was not over, but the door still held, and those who knocked now knew what waited behind it. Silence returned to space around Earth, but it was not the same silence as before. Carried memory. Wreckage drifted beyond the moon, slowly collected by gravity and careful hands. Recovery crews moved through orbit, pulling survivors from shattered hulls, sealing leaks, counting losses. Earth did not rush. Every action was measured. The war had tested the door. The door had held. Tesu stood again in the command hall, now filled with quiet activity. Displays showed long-range space, calm for the moment. No hostile signatures. No sudden movement. For now, he reviewed reports without comment. Earth's defenses had suffered damage, but none beyond repair. Systems learned from the battle, updating models and responses. Every mistake became instruction. Earth adapted. Ji-ho walked through a reconstruction bay on the surface, his boots heavy on solid ground. Around him, parts of Orbital Ring 3 were laid out in sections, scarred and twisted. The station was gone, but its pieces would live again in other forms. He touched a burned panel, fingers resting on cold metal. The station had done its job. So had he. He felt no pride in destruction, only in protection. Ira's days grew longer. Messages arrived from systems far beyond Earth's reach. Some were cautious greetings. Others were formal inquiries. A few were thinly veiled warnings. She answered none of them. Immediately. Earth would speak when it chose. She prepared a single broadcast, translated into dozens of known languages. It was not a threat. It was not an invitation. It was a statement. Earth remained neutral. Earth would not join wars of conquest. Earth would defend itself fully, and without apology. The message traveled across the galaxy. Leaders listened. Some scoffed. Some reconsidered old assumptions. Hana returned to normal medical duties, though normal felt different now. People spoke more softly. They looked at the sky more often. Fear still existed, but it no longer ruled. She trained new staff with steady patience. If the war returned, Earth would be ready. Hyan stood beside his ship in a quiet hangar. The conversion panels were folded back into civilian shape. Scars marked the hull, reminders of moments when death had passed close. He ran his hand along the metal. He would fly cargo again, and if needed, he would fight again. Weeks passed, then months. The galaxy shifted. Enemy forces withdrew from nearby regions, consolidating elsewhere. They spoke of losses they could not explain, of tactics that failed against a world they had dismissed. Earth became a variable. Dangerous 1. Tesu received a final report from deep space sensors. The hostile fleet that had attacked. Earth was no more. Some ships had been destroyed. Others had been abandoned by their allies. No reinforcement ever came. The enemy had learned a hard lesson. Not all doors should be forced. Earth held a quiet remembrance. No grand ceremony. No speeches broadcast across the stars. Names were recorded. Families were supported. Lives were honored with care, not noise. Ji-ho attended, standing among others who had worked in silence. He looked at the sky and felt something settle. Inside him. Earth had not won a war. It had survived. 1. Era sent one final message. Into the galactic network. Earth does not seek enemies. But we will not be prey. She closed the channel and leaned back. Exhaustion finally allowed to surface. Beyond Earth, trade slowly resumed. Ships approached the system with caution and respect. No one demanded entry. They asked. Earth answered on its own terms. Tesu oversaw the final shift to a new defense posture. Not aggressive. Not passive. Watchful. The planet returned to its routines. Children went to school. Farmers watched the weather. Cities glowed at night. But beneath it all, Earth remembered. The door remained closed. Not out of fear. Out of choice. Far away in the burning galaxy. Stories spread dot of a quiet world dot of patient people, of a door that did not break when war knocked dot and earth continued to turn, calm and whole, no longer ignored.